Hello everyone and welcome to the using every gun in Black Ops Cold War video. I have every gun. I've got it to the legendary rarity, whatever the orange rarity is. I got every gun to that point and pack-a-punched it all 3 times with an effect on it. I believe I got it on every weapon. There might be one that I didn't. I did in fact get it on every weapon, so I have gameplay of that right here. I'm just going to be going in order what you see in the creative class in the select weapon category. So let's just start with the XM4. Now the XM4 is your generally good assault rifle, and in the early rounds it's pretty good, but using it to its max capacity on what you see in the gameplay right now is around 42. It's not great. I mean, it'll kill zombies and it has the fire rate to do so, but it's not really preferred over other weapons. As you can see, what it's doing to the Megaton is like nothing. You can get it dead eventually, but you're going to run out of ammo constantly having to use points, so I would not recommend this weapon too much. Next we have the AK-47, and this one is also a generally good assault rifle, and it does a bit better than the XM4, but still, like, the fire rate and the damage ratio is just not that great compared to other weapons in this game. But this one I'd probably prefer the XM because it just does more damage. Next up we have the Krig 6. Now this one is also a wall weapon like the XM4, except this one I actually like a lot. Using this with Deadshot and nailing those headshots will give you a lot of damage, and its fire rate isn't too bad. I think it's better than the AK still, and it can do about as much damage as the AK, but the thing about this gun is that it's really accurate, so hitting those headshots is pretty easy, and I tell you, with Deadshot, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, so I recommend this weapon. Next up, we have the QBZ. It's actually a pretty decent gun. It's got its damage really high at the cost of slower fire rate. It's like the AK, except this damage is actually really nice for this gun, and I like this weapon just because of that. The thing about this weapon as well is that it is a box weapon, but I still like it for its damage that it can do. And next up, we have the FFAR 1. It's not the FFAR from Black Ops 3, it's and Cold War FFAR, the FAMAS. We all know what it is. But this gun, actually, I think is the best assault rifle out of all of them. It can do a lot of damage, and the fire rate, paired with the damage that it already does, is beautiful. This gun is very fun to use, and if you get it from the box, I'd recommend you use it as well. And with it being an assault rifle, it's actually not too bad with the accuracy and the aim going everywhere, so it's actually pretty easy to control. Now that we're all done with the assault rifling, now it's time to go on to the SMGs. The first one we have is the MP5. This one is also a wall weapon. It is actually a preferred choice. I know I didn't get it fully leveled up in the gameplay right now, but I will have gameplay of it just a little bit. I have used it more against normal zombies in the little higher rounds, and then I used it during its full potential. So I can tell you that this gun is actually pretty good. It's pretty good for taking out hordes. It's a really good spray and pray weapon. Just like in multiplayer, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I have a little bit of gameplay of using it against the Megatons, and it's actually doing a lot of damage. Like, compared to the other weapons, this one is actually a really good choice against the Megatons. So I would recommend using this if you're looking for a wall gun. Next up, we have the Succubus Stinger. This one's the Milano. It's actually kind of decent. I've used this at a kind of lower round, and I know I have motion blur in the gameplay. I'm sorry. This is the only clip, I swear. But you can see at round 29, it's not actually doing too bad. But for the sake of just, what if it was higher rounds? Its damage, I don't think, would be better than other guns, and its fire rate is going to be kind of its downfall. It can do pretty good against the Megaton at this point, which is great for lower rounds, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be a preferred weapon in the higher rounds, but it is still a decent weapon, as you can see right here. Next up, we have the AK-74U. This weapon is a little bit better than the Milano. I think it has more of a fire rate, and its damage to pair with it is really good. And as well as that, it's a wall weapon, which you can buy near the trials station, and it comes blue, so that's actually not too bad. But again, this weapon is an SMG that tries to do more damage than just have good mobility, so it's not the greatest SMG, but it isn't too bad at the same time. Next, we have the KSP SMG. This one's actually a burst SMG. It's the only one that's not a tactical rifle that's a burst, and just so you know, I do have the sound off for this clip in particular. It's actually really nice for killing hordes, because it being an SMG is going to get a couple bullets out pretty fast. Since it's a burst, it's going to not do that as fast. But against the Megatons, it's not really that great since you can't get that many bullets out as much as other ones. I have multiple Megatons here just because I'm playing with Adam and it's multiplayer, and I tried using this weapon, and it still did pretty decent. For killing trains, it's actually pretty good, and it tries to get more damage out. But again, it's not really like fully focused on an SMG category. So this one's not the greatest, but I mean, it's still not bad. And here's our second SMG that actually tries to be an SMG. It's very lightweight, it can get a lot of bullets out fast, and it's really good with that because it has such a good mag size that it's really nice to use. So if you want an SMG to use, if you get the Bullfrog out of the box, it's a really good choice to use actually. It doesn't do a whole lot against the Megaton, but just the fact that it has so much magazine capacity that you could just spray and pray everywhere and you don't even have to worry about it. And that's really what an SMG is supposed to be, so it's really nice. Next up, we have the tactical rifles, and like I said in one of my previous videos, tactical rifles are actually really good in this game, but we're starting off with the Type 63, which is what I'd say would be the worst one, but even then, this is already just probably just as good as any other weapon that I've had on the list so far here. And with that being said, it's a wall weapon, so you can get it early on and then you can just use it and wait for the higher rounds even. It does have a bit of a slower fire rate, which is why I'd say it's the worst of the tactical rifles, but still definitely not a bad choice. Next up, we have the M16. I'm actually really impressed with this weapon. For it being a green wall weapon that you can buy off the wall, if you get this one, it's actually really good to fully level up because it's actually going to do a lot with the Megatons, and when you have a full horde, you can shoot into them, and it's going to shoot 6 shots per burst, which is actually really valuable, and it's actually going to kill a lot of zombies in your horde. Even then, with the Megatons, it just kind of wrecks them, and it's awesome. But it is a burst weapon, as the tactical rifles are, being semi-auto and burst. If you don't like these, then maybe it's not your cup of tea. Tactical rifles are still really good no matter what kind of playstyle you have. And next up, we have the AUG, the weapon that we just went over, except this one's a 3-round burst and you have to get this one from the box. So it is actually a bit better than the M16. So if you do manage to get this out of the box, I'd recommend picking that up. I feel like this weapon just does a bit more damage. It doesn't shoot as many shots per burst, so you're not going to get as much value there. But I mean, it really doesn't matter when it's got so much damage and you can just keep on firing off those bursts like it's nothing. And next we have the DMR-14, which is like the Type 63, except this gun is very spammable, and that's where its power really comes in. You just want to line up a horde, and you just want to spam this gun as much as you can to whatever you're shooting. This gun is kind of attachment reliant though, as in if you start using like equipment drop rate things for this gun, it's not going to be as good as it didn't have it. Which, I mean, that's with every weapon, but with the DMR, it really suffers because you can't shoot it as much, it's not going to do as much damage, and you're going to be running out of ammo faster, which, if you prefer that, go for it. It really doesn't matter, but just know that you're going to have to spam it a bit more. But either scenario, this is a very spammable gun, and it's very fun to use, so I also recommend this one. And next we have the LMG category. First one is the Stoner Man Psychotropic Thunder, which is a great name, by the way. This gun is very slow, as with all the LMGs are, and I feel like you don't get that much damage out of it, even though you're going very slow and you're going to need to kill the zombies pretty fast. So it's good to use it in lower rounds, but I would not recommend fully leveling it up. I feel like I'd still prefer damage and being able to kill them before they kill me, so I wouldn't recommend this one too much still. Next we have the RPD, and again, I feel like this isn't the greatest weapon, and this clip is featuring Adam looking really goofy for some reason. I don't know what's with that glitch, but it's really funny. As for the actual gun though, you can actually get this weapon off the wall, which makes it a little bit more valuable. It's green on the wall, so I mean it's not the greatest, but I mean to get it from green to blue is not too bad. But still, just because of that movement speed, comparing it to other weapons, it's not that great, so I still wouldn't really recommend this one. But the M60 on the other hand, probably the heaviest machine gun in this game, but it does so much damage that it doesn't even matter. Like I said, I'd prefer to kill my target before it gets to me and it kills me, and this weapon does a great job of actually killing them pretty fast. So the M60 is actually probably the best LMG that there Magnums. Also, there's a little happy face on the magazine. That's really awesome. And next, we have the snipers. Oh boy, these guns suck ass. They are terrible. Starting off with the Pelican, the Peloton, the Pellington. Our boy, it's bad. It's supposed to be your quick scoping sniper, and it's got a lot in the magazine, but just having it upgraded, it doesn't just put more bullets. It can't reload that fast. I just want more bullets in the magazine, but you have to do them individually, one by one, with your full 20 mag. It's so stupid. And it doesn't even have any bullet penetration. Even with its agility, it's not even that agile. You'd much rather use just like an SMG or something. Following the same kind of theme, we have the Tundra, except it's even slower, so it's even worse to use, but it's a wall weapon, so I mean there's that, but it's so slow. This is the one gun though that you can get the most damage potential out of with like Ring of Fire, Dead Shot modifier, but still it's not practical to use this weapon because it's just so slow, and the bullet penetration in this game is not even that great, so I would not recommend either of these two sniper rifles. But there is kind of one redeeming quality of the sniper rifles, and that's the M82, the Barrett 50 cal, the big ass gun. And this one's actually kind of fun to use. It doesn't have as much mag as the other snipers, but this one's actually semi-auto, and it actually does a lot of damage, and I believe is going to be seeing a buff in a future update. Not sure if that's exactly just for multiplayer, but it could be for zombies too, and if it is, that's excellent. That would be even better than it already is. I want all the snipers to have a buff, really, but I mean, this one is actually kind of not brain numbing to use. So if you're going to use any sniper, and if you just want to use a sniper, this is the gun to do it. Compared to all the other weapons in this game, though, no, I still would not recommend this one. You know what I would actually kind of recommend instead? Pistols. That's the category that we're moving on to. You'd never think I'd say that, but you know what? Pistols are probably better than snipers, actually. And the first pistol we have is the classic M1911, or just the 1911 now because Call of Duty started calling it that for some reason. This one is like the DMR 14, where you have to kind of spam it, except you still don't even get that much damage out of it. So, I mean, really, it's still not a great option. Like I said, still better than snipers, but it doesn't do a whole lot even when you spam it. And when you do spam it, you're going to be running out of ammo pretty quickly, so still. As for the dual 1911s, this one I was so surprised by. This clip was actually so hard to get because I got down with a ray gun and I got glitched. So this was the only weapon I had, and this was the last one I had to do, and I couldn't get it out of the box until what round you're seeing right now, 56. I had to go a long time with just having the double pack-a-punch M1911s, and I had to upgrade it another time without the ray gun. So it was hell, but I finally got it, and I was so surprised to see how well it was doing on around 50s. This is 56, what you're seeing right now. But the absolute sheer firepower that you get from these two guns is insane. Even on the higher rounds, it's actually going to be doing something. Again, though, you're going to be burning through ammo really quickly, so again, probably in the lower round is where you're going to want to keep this gun if you can. Also, with all these dual weapons, Deadshot is a must with the hip fire reducing accuracy or increasing accuracy. I don't know. And next we have the Magnum. This is probably the weirdest gun I have ever used. It's so good, yet it's so fucking bad. I don't even know where to put this weapon. And what I mean by that is that its headshot damage is so high. I mean, you're seeing the numbers that you're seeing right now. You're going to be killing a lot in the higher rounds even. I believe I was still one-shotting up to like round 50, which is the damage cap. So you can one-shot with this weapon on round 50. The thing about it is that you have to get headshots, and it can be really difficult because you're seeing the recoil that you get with this gun, and it's not easy. So you absolutely have to rely on Deadshot to get these headshots. And once you do, even you can see the megatons are going down pretty fast once you're actually hitting headshots. And the thing about this gun too is that you get actually quite a bit of ammo, but you get so little fire rate but so much damage that you're going to be saving so much ammo, and it's kind of a safe weapon to use because you're not going to run out of ammo really, and you're not going to be killing too fast. You gotta go for those headshots, and penetrating isn't the best in this game, so it's actually a really safe weapon to use. Just like if you're in a bad situation, don't rely on it to save you, because it won't, trust me. With that being said, would the dual Magnums work out in your favor? Well, like I said, you have to be hitting those headshots, so having two of them, having twice the chance to hit a headshot is there. But the thing about it is now you're going to run out of ammo a lot quicker, and it's going to be a bit less safe, and you're going for hip fires. So I mean, headshots aren't necessarily the easiest thing to hit. As for the B23R, the RK5, or whatever you want to call it in this game, it's called the Diamatti. It's kind of a weird name. Yeah, I know. But as for its actual lethality, it's not great, even though it's 3-round burst, and usually it's kind of good to have that, as you can get a lot of bullets out really quickly. But I mean, it doesn't still do that much damage, with the single version at least. With the dual versions, however, you're going to be getting a bit more lethality, again, at the cost of ammo. So it's not really preferred because you're already going to be running out of ammo really fast, just being the nature of it being a burst weapon, and it actually fires pretty quick as a burst weapon. So it's not completely a bad choice, I just prefer it in lower rounds. And now we have the shotguns, the most powerful weapons in this whole ass game, because goddamn, the Hauer, as you can see, it's already doing a lot of damage, and that's just the nature of a pump shotgun. But as usually they make the pump shotguns in zombies, it actually pumps really fast. So it's pretty much like you're using a semi-auto, and this is also a wall weapon. So if you want to quickly grab this off the wall, even like round 50 evacing is super good with it, because you can just grab it off the wall and you can instantly upgrade it, and then it's easy. It's so easy to use. But if you thought that was easy to use, now we have the Gallo SA12, the Hangman, a very clever name. Good job, Treyarch. This is the preferred weapon amongst pretty much everybody that's playing zombies right now, because it actually still does a lot of damage. The Hauer probably does a bit more, but this one is still a decent amount. And this one's also a wall weapon, except it's blue, so it's even better to get off the wall. For me, I'd personally probably still choose the Hauer over this, but this is still a really decent option if you're new to the game. And now we have the launchers for the game. This time we have two launchers. The first one we have the Cigma, the Cigma. Ha, got him. Nobody's made that joke before. Like I said, with the LMGs, your movement speed is really limited with some guns in this game. So particularly with the Cigma and the RPG, they're not great, especially because of the fact that you can't even put any attachments on it to at least move a bit faster at the beginning of the game. But actually, if you use the launchers well, you can use 2 shots to pretty much kill a whole horde if you place them right. The thing with the Cigma though, it's got 3 shots, which is great, but the recoil and the follow-up shot is just impossible. I shouldn't say it's impossible, because it's very well possible. You just got to control it a bit better. But the Cigma actually does a lot of damage, since it's kind of meant to be a lock-on launcher. So compared to the RPG-7, which I'm going to go over now, it has instead 2 shots in a magazine, quote unquote magazine, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean for a rocket launcher. It still does about as much as the Cigma. I just prefer the Cigma because it does a little bit more damage and it can actually clean out the horde pretty well. And if you need to use that 3rd shot as well, you can. But I can't really say that they're meta at all, so I mean, they're not the greatest guns still, but I mean, if you want to have a fun time, they're there, and they're not terribly bad. And next we have the knife. I mean, I don't really know what I'm supposed to say about this weapon. It's a knife, and it's impractical against hordes of zombies. It's not like a secret, oh, this is such a good weapon. Like, it's not even going to do that much against the Megaton. As you can see, I tried to use it against him in this gameplay. It's not practical at all. There's no reason why you should be doing this. This is just dumb. It kills, it one-shots on all the rounds if you upgrade it to its legendary rarity and get it fully pack-a-punched. I mean, you might not even have to get it to its legendary rarity. It might just work. But yeah, a knife's a knife, and that's just how it is. So, I mean, use it at your own risk. And last, but not far from the least, at least, we have M79. Now this is very relatable to the rocket launchers. The only difference with this is that it does a bit less damage, and by that I mean you're gonna have to use like a whole ass another shot. Ignore that zombie that just decided to be Superman for a second. You're gonna have to use like 2 full mags, quote unquote mags again. It's not too bad considering that you actually move pretty fast with this. It's got a huge blast radius, so you don't have to worry about not hitting the zombies. You do have to worry about hitting yourself, so just keep that in mind. And you can kind of see here as well why everybody is trying to get this camo for Plague Diamond and the knife, and how hard it actually is to kill multiple zombies in one shot. My advice for that is don't do it right now, because they're probably going to change it because it's a ridiculously hard challenge, but everybody's going for it for some reason. I could see them changing it in the future, but if they don't, I mean, go for it. But I mean, I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of other weapons to get to Plague Diamond before this. With that being said though, it's still a very fun weapon to use, so if you haven't used it and fully upgraded it, and you can have a good time with it actually. And that just about does it for every weapon in this game. If you want to know my favorite weapons for the assault rifles, I'd definitely say the FFAR. Submachine guns, I'd still prefer the MP5, even though the Bullfrog is pretty good. The AUG is a really good burst weapon, or the DMR if you're feeling a bit spammy. It does the job pretty well there too. The M60 is an actual beast of a gun, and it gets the job done really nicely. But we all know both the shotguns are probably the best guns in this game. I prefer the Hauer a bit more than the Gallo, but the Gallo is still really easy to use, so if you want to rather use that instead, the damage mitigation is not too bad still. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, like the video. If you like my other videos, make sure to subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you all later, and bye.